let's look at some examples of art making a difference. Note that we are not saying you have to create these types of works. We are just giving you some examples of existing ones that we will refer to in later lessons so that we are all on the same page when the time comes. This also shows a range of types of art, so music, drawing, film, graphic design, and art installation. Okay, let's get started. Let's start with the short film, I Got Flowers Today. This film is based on a poem by Paulette Kelly and describes the experiences of a woman in an abusive relationship. If you haven't yet, please check the resource section for a link to the video. This will help you better understand the film, as we will discuss it several times in later lessons. In case you haven't watched it yet, the film focuses on domestic violence. The title is ironic because the woman often receives flowers from her partner after each episode of abuse. The film captures the emotional roller coaster of domestic violence, where love is used as a weapon of control. This art form, a short film, is particularly powerful because it uses visual storytelling to convey the emotional intensity of the situation. The images, dialogue, and acting bring the poem's words to life in a way that truly resonates with viewers, transforming what could be a distant issue into something personal and immediate. The film is aimed at both those who may be experiencing abuse and those who might not fully understand its psychological impact. It is a call for empathy and a plea for victims to seek help before it's too late. Next, let's talk about the iconic image of NSARS protesters taken by Victor Odiba in 2020. Photography is a powerful medium here because it captures a single moment in time, a snapshot that holds a much larger story. This image became symbolic of the entire movement. For many Nigerians, it represented resistance against oppression. It also called in people who were not there into the location and all that it represented. The image's impact lies in its simplicity and how it was positioned on social media. Let's move on to Falz's song This Is Nigeria, which is a Nigerian adaptation of Childish Gambino's This Is America, and it tackles the various issues plaguing Nigerian society, including corruption, poor infrastructure, and police brutality. It is a music video and is incredibly effective here because it combines rhythm, lyrics, and visuals to tell a story. It's not only a song, but also a social commentary wrapped in a catchy beat. Music reaches people in ways that other forms of art sometimes can't because it's accessible, emotional, and memorable. Especially in this age, if it catches on, it can stay on for a period of time. The song's audience is broad, and for anyone who is familiar with Nigeria's political and social challenges, but especially young Nigerians. It speaks to a generation that is increasingly fed up with the status quo. Now, let's talk about Barbara Kruger's Your Body is a Battleground. This piece was created as a protest against the anti-abortion movement in the United States during the late 1980s. But its message about body autonomy and feminism resonates globally, including in societies where women's rights are still heavily contested. This was included because, as you can see, it is a simple graphic design, not a painting, not a movie, not music. It's really mainly a text on image. The combination of the words with images is impactful because it's quite direct and confrontational. This one is a call to action designed to provoke and inspire people to stand up for women's autonomy. For the next one, we have Judy Chicago's The Dinner Party, which is a large-scale installation celebrating women's history. The work consists of a triangular table with 39 place settings, each representing a significant woman from history. This includes both mythological and historical figures, ranging from Sappho to Sojourner Truth. The art form here is installation, and this one is an immersive experience that invites viewers to interact with history in a tangible way. It uses traditional women's work, like ceramics and embroidery, to challenge the idea that these forms of art are less important than others. This piece highlights the often overlooked contributions of women to society, art, and culture. It was one of the first pieces of art to focus so explicitly on celebrating women's achievements, at a time when many female artists were not getting their recognition in the US. Finally, let's look at Titus Kafar's The Jerome Project. We will also refer to this briefly later on and wanted to introduce it briefly. This project is a series of portraits based on mugshots of African American men who have been incarcerated. The goal was to reflect the systemic racism in the U.S. criminal justice system. The project is done in portraiture, but CAFR covers parts of the subjects' faces as a way to obscure their identities. This draws attention to how the justice system reduces these men to just mugshots, erasing their humanity in the process. You can read more about it in the resource section, but what's relevant to know is that the installation involves over 90 of these portraits, and the context behind the art is rooted in the systemic racism in the justice system, specifically in the US.